पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो।
I hate this country.
तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले। लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। ओ लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो अकड़ के चलो, उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो।
फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो।
Tip 1. Increase your orderliness. Conscientiousness can be divided into industriousness and orderliness. To increase conscientiousness, it's easier to begin by creating some order or increasing orderliness. Be aware, however, that some things are beyond our control, like other people, your pet, or the weather. So what are the things that we can control? One easy example is by cleaning your working space. Having an orderly living or working space can do wonders for your mental state. Another aspect that you can control is your mind itself. By meditating or doing mindfulness exercises can calm your chaotic mind. With a clean, orderly state, you can then begin to work on your industriousness. Tip 2. Plan your days. You can start increasing your orderliness by planning your days. A conscientious person will have their days planned out, sometimes months and years in advance. Some even plan their days to the minute. Though you don't have to go to that extreme, planning your days and sticking to them will help you feel organized and be more in control of what's happening around you. Start by planning for the day ahead of you, either the night before or the first thing you do in the morning. Write down the tasks you need to do, like getting work done, doing the laundry, paying the bills, and set a time that you should start and finish your tasks. Tip 3. Set reminders.
As you can see, I was born without fingers on my right hand, and also my right leg was several inches shorter than my left one. They broke the bones in the leg, then they screwed metal spikes into the bone. It has not only spikes but wires that go all the way through the leg to stabilize it. I have to walk on it. I have to stretch it out so that my muscles don't just get all atrophied. People always ask me, does it hurt? Yes, it does. But I focus on what I can do, not on what I cannot do. I want to talk with you guys about overcoming obstacles. Everybody has obstacles, a disability, a hurdle. We face a choice. Let the obstacle overcome you or overcome the obstacle. Maybe some of you have heard of Jim Abbott. He was a Major League Baseball player. He won a gold medal in the Olympics. He played for the Yankees, the Angels, but he threw a no-hitter and he only had one arm. When he was a kid, he came home mad one time and told his dad, "The kids won't let me play baseball because I only have one hand." His dad replied, "No, the kids won't let you play baseball because you stink at baseball." You can't change the fact that you only have one hand, but you can change the fact that you stink. So his dad began to practice with him, and he got good. He overcame obstacles. Teams would try to exploit his weak side. They would try to bunt to the side that he had a missing arm. But they never succeeded because he practiced and practiced fielding bunts to that side. There is no dishonor in having a disability, and I won't let anyone diss my ability, but I don't want anyone's pity either. I will not use the obstacles I face as an excuse for having a pity party. I will practice harder, play harder, and push myself harder to keep getting better. Last season, I started on my varsity high school basketball team as a freshman, and I won Rookie of the Year. I was one of the top scorers on the team. So one of the things that I find funny is that people judge me by appearance. They say, "Oh, look at this one-handed whitey with the limp. I don't want him on my team, you know." But what they don't know is that I don't just have a disability, I have an ability. One of my favorite moments from this last season was we played a team that we had never played before. And when the game started, you could tell that they were dissing my disability. I mean, they double-teamed our tallest player. They just were playing really soft on me. And you could tell, they thought, what can this guy with one hand do? So they left me open for a three. I made that one. They left me open for another one. I made that one. Then they started to get frustrated, so they actually fouled me. I made both free throws. And they called timeout. And as we were in the huddle, I could hear the other coach yelling at his players about me. They went from not covering me at all to double-teaming me. It's all about overcoming obstacles. It's true, I have a disability, but so do you. I also have an ability, so do you. Everyone has obstacles to overcome. Some are visible like mine. Some are less visible. Maybe your obstacle is that you come from a poor neighborhood. Maybe people say you'll never amount to anything. Prove them wrong. Maybe your obstacle is that you have a learning disability and people think that you're dumb. Prove them wrong. Maybe people judge you because of the color of your skin or your family background. Prove them wrong. I know a lot of people who take one look at me and judge me. They say, "Oh, that kid can't be any good at basketball. One leg, one hand." If someone thinks you can overcome the obstacles, prove them wrong.
Start to ask the 5 whys. We can put on our investigative hats and ask why is this occurring? That will lead us to a root cause, regarding which we can attach a countermeasure. So to look at this part of the problem-solving process of the 5 whys, or causal chain, let's look at the famous example from Taiichi Ohno of Toyota, and the one that he used starting in the 1950s of a machine breaking down. So the problem that he saw as the manager of the machine shop was machines would often break down, and his people would often just attach a Band-Aid. They would only stop it at the first level of cause, meaning that the problems would recur, they would come back. So he trained himself and his people then to always ask the 5 whys, sometimes 3, sometimes 8, the point being to follow the causal chain all the way down to a root cause. So in this example, he looked at a machine that had stopped working and identified with the first why that it had blown a fuse in the control box because it was overloaded. The overload caused the fuse to blow. Then he didn't stop there, asked why again, and recognized that insufficient lubrication was getting to the bearing. So the bearing, therefore, was causing the overload on the machine. Not stopping there, he went to the next cause and asking why, found that the pump was not drawing lubricant, so the lubricant then would not be sent to the bearing. Still not stopping there, okay, why, again, was the pump not drawing lubricant? Because the shaft was worn, causing it to rattle and not function properly. Now, another why there led him to a root cause, which was that there was no strainer that allowed metal chips to enter in and damage the pump. So with the damaged shaft, that would mean that the pump wasn't drawing lubricant, so that there wasn't enough lubrication going to the bearing. That overloaded the machine and blew a fuse, and that stopped the machine from working. So he's got a 5 why causal chain going down to the root cause.
Now, reverse brainstorming is a lot of fun because instead of trying to solve a problem, we're going to start by making it way worse. For example, it's loud in my house and I can't concentrate, and I know this has happened to you. Instead of looking around for solutions, which aren't always easy to think of, let's reverse brainstorm to make it even louder and harder to concentrate. So I could turn up a TV or computer to full volume, shout when talking, keep everyone just in one room, or create lots of echoes. Now, this may seem crazy, but actually by making the problem worse before we make it better, we're tricking our brains and to think in new ways. This allows entrepreneurs to come up with innovative ideas that they may not have thought of otherwise. Now we'll flip each of these statements into positive statements and look for different ways to solve this problem. So turning up the TV and computer to full volume to make it better, we'll turn down the volume, or we'll give everyone their own earbuds and headphones. Instead of a shouting voice, we'll use a whisper voice, or just a normal voice. Instead of having everyone stay in just one room, everyone has their own space. And instead of making the space have lots of echoes, let's do the opposite of that and cover and insulate the walls. Who knows, one of these ideas may turn into product, service, or apps that could be your business idea. So use reverse brainstorming when you need to come up with a new...
So, Jeff, so what happened with the Fire Phone?
Well, you know, if you look at our device portfolio, let me back up and say a couple of things. First of all, it's really early, and so we've had a lot of things we've had to iterate on at Amazon. You guys may remember something called auctions. That didn't work out very well. Then we launched something called Z Shops, which morphed out of that. And then from Z Shops, which didn't work, we launched Marketplace, which became our third-party seller business, which now represents more than 40% of units sold on Amazon. It's a great business for us. And so some of these things take iterations. If you look at our device portfolio more broadly, our hardware team is doing a great job. You know, the Kindle is now on its 7th generation. The Kindle Voyage, the new kind of premium product, is just completely killer. And you know, Fire TV Stick, we're having trouble building enough. Amazon Echo, which we just launched, we even managed to keep it secret, shocking in the modern era. We didn't build enough of those. We're working on that. So there's a lot of activity going on in our device business. And with the phone, I just ask you to stay tuned.
So what was the mistake with the phone? Or are you saying there's no mistake, we knew it was going to flop?
I think it takes more time to analyze something like that. Again, one of my jobs as the leader of Amazon is to encourage people to be bold. And people love to focus on things that aren't yet working. And that's good, it's human nature. That kind of divine discontent can be very helpful. But it's incredibly hard to get people to take bold bets. And you need to encourage that. And if you're going to take bold bets, they're going to be experiments. And if they're experiments, you don't know ahead of time whether they're going to work. Experiments are, by their very nature, prone to failure. But a few big successes compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. So, bold bets, AWS, Kindle, Amazon Prime, our third-party seller business, all of those things are examples of bold bets that did work, and they pay for a lot of experiments. I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon.com. Literally, billions of dollars of failures. And you might remember Pets.com or Cosmo, or give myself a root canal with no anesthesia very easily. None of those things are fun, but they don't matter. What really matters is companies that don't continue to experiment, companies that don't embrace failure, they eventually get in a desperate position where the only thing they can do is make a kind of Hail Mary bet at the very end of their corporate existence. Whereas companies that are making bets all along, even big bets, but not bet the company bets. I don't believe in bet the company bets. That's when you're desperate. That's the last thing you can do.
But we should stay tuned for an evolution of the phone. How long do we have to stay tuned?
Well, it's going to take many iterations. Who knows? Ask me in some number of years.